MrsWiggleIt here, and I'm back playing Rimworld. I'm playing version 1.1 with the Royalty DLC, and this is going to be a modded run, whereas the last series was all vanilla. I'm going to go back to my mods, because for me, at least, it makes the game more enjoyable, and hopefully for you guys, it makes it better to watch. So, the mods I am going to be running, and I'll go through them quickly. The Harmony mod is just a need for all of them. Obviously, I've got the Royalty there. Hugs Lab, again, works well with everything else, keeps everything running well together. Better walls and floors just gives me more options with walling and flooring. Prosthetics and organ engineering is really useful for my playstyle. Usually I end up taking prisoners and making them part of my colony, and as a result they end up with missing limbs and all sorts like that. Fences and floors continued. Fences are a core of my defense, so that had to be in there. Hospitality is a nice way of just making a little bit of silver and having some extra people at the colony. I do plan on having guest beds fairly soon. Miscellaneous core is just a buff. It helps the way the game's played, and it just adds a couple of different bits that make the game nicer. Robots. I've got Mist Robots, which just adds in... I mainly use it for the crafting and the hauling and the kitchen robots and things like that, just to take some of the mundane tasks off my colonists. Vegetable garden brings in a couple of more plants and stuff like that. You'll see that once we get into that. Glass and lights is really useful, especially for some of the stuff that I plan on doing. So you can have things like skylights and wall lights and things like that. Filth vanishes with rain and time is more of a quality of life than anything. Just means that your kill boxes and things like that will naturally clean themselves when it rains. Run and gun, I've used it once and now can't not use it. Run and gun means that your pawns can fire while moving at an accuracy penalty and a speed penalty, I believe, meaning you can kite enemies a lot easier, especially the early game melee enemies. Roads of the Rim means you can build roads. I've not actually used this yet. I downloaded it, I've not managed to use it, but if we don't spawn near a road, if I don't pick near a road, we can build a road, so we do get some more traders and stuff. Replace stuff, again, is just a quality of life one. You've got the option to turn your early wood walls into like slate walls or whatever without actually having to deconstruct and reconstruct, so that's in the... Oh, dub skylights there, sorry. So glass and light is about, you can have glass walls and wall lights and things like that. Dub skylights gives you skylights so you can do indoor growing a lot easier. The allow tool again is another quality of life, means you can allow all on the map and everything like that. There's a couple in there like mine connected all that's really useful. You'll see those as we go through. Blueprints is really good so that you don't have to build each room individually. This works very much like the Prison Architect blueprints, if you've ever played that game. Doormat helps reduce filth. You put a doormat down and the doormat needs cleaning, but the rest of the room doesn't as much, which is going to be useful. Glitter tech is the end game stuff, but I hope to get there at some point. Hopefully you should see some of that as we get through. Miniaturization means you can uninstall and reinstall more stuff. It's really annoying having to deconstruct a workbench to reconstruct it elsewhere, whereas miniaturization fixes that for you. Setup camp means you don't have to create a second colony just to mine an area, so if we do start running out of wood or steel or anything like that, I can send a group somewhere they can set up camp, do some mining and come back. So that'd be really useful. Dubs break mod means that the colonists break a lot, are a lot more resilient. They don't break quite as easily, and I believe it adds some new breaks in there, so we should get to see that. And then one of my favourite all-time mods is sometimes raids go wrong, which is exactly what it says. Every time there's a raid, there's a roll of the dice. That roll of the dice then decides whether the raid is a normal raid, or if something's going to happen to them. Like it spawns a load of bears, or they get hit by a meteorite, or a mechanoid cluster, or something like that. Doesn't always work in your favour, which is why it's nice and balanced, because it can spawn 10 mechs on the map for you, so that they fight the mechs, and then whatever's left will then attack you, which could then be those full 10 mechs, depending on the size of it all. So those are the mods I'm going to use. We'll jump into a new colony. So I'm going to go with Crash Landed. I haven't got any custom scenarios or any custom storytellers or anything like that yet. I may end up adding those in if this series does well. I'm going to be using Randy Random because it is the only person I ever use. On medium difficulty, reload anytime. So I have a random seed. Global coverage I'm going to set to 100 because it's my rendering that's going to suffer. You guys don't have to wait because I can cut that out. The beauty of editing. Set all that to normal and generate. Okay, so this is the world we have spawned on. Let's have a quick look around. So I want to be mountainous. I do want to just bore into a mountain and live there. Okay. That's a settlement there. I was going to say there would be perfect, but right next to a settlement, they are going to get annoyed at that. But again, we don't have to be near a road. We can build a road. Yeah, that area is brilliant. The amount of traders, a couple of pirates. Those two are going to have fun. That's mountainous, right next to a road. Is it too close to the factions, though? Let's find out. No, it's not. Oh, okey-doke. So then we get to choose our guys. So I'm just going to run through this, and I'll explain my choices at the end, so you guys don't have to watch this bit. Okay, so this is what I've gone with. Now, I hit random quite a lot, and wasn't able to find anyone that was good at shooting, that wasn't terrible at everything else, so we can work on shooting. It's fine. We've got Jasmine Eggs Boyd, who was a shelter child. Eggs grew up in a shelter deep beneath a toxic world. She received a comprehensive education but had no opportunity to do physical labour, which gives her a -2 in construction and mining, a +3 in medical and intellectual, and a +2 in social, which is quite useful. In her adulthood, she was a cave world illuminator. Among tunnel dwellers, those with the vision as strong as Eggs are revered as sages. She would lead the way, marking spots to dig with bioluminescent fungus, and warning others of impending dangers, which gives her a +3 in mining and a +2 in social. She also has an abrasive addiction, which is easy to get rid of. As one of the addictions, I don't care. She is an undergrounder as a result of all of this, which means that she will be happy in the caves, which is what we want. And she's staggering ugly, which means she's got less beauty, but yeah. So currently, as I say, she's not got any shooting skills, but we can work on that. We can make her a shooter. Mining's 2, she's got a minor passion for it. Cooking's 4, cooking's not going to be important in this one, I'm going to be using nutrient paste for the most part. 13 in animals, which could be useful. I do want to get some animals, particularly boomalopes. I could do with some boomalopes. Start a chem fuel farm. She's got 4 in crafting, some medical, some social, and some intellectual, which is going to be useful. Then we've got Patty Kramer, who was a cave world tender. Kramer grew up in cave complex, deep beneath the surface of an inhospitable world. She worked with other children tending to the tribe's fungus crops, which gives her a -3 in shooting, a +4 in plants, and a +2 in mining. And in her adult life, she was an herb world entrepreneur. In the herb worlds, most suffer, but someone has to run the corporations. Kramer learned the skills of the trade, greasing palms and technical analysis. She is a socio-intellectual machine, which gives her a +3 in intellectual and a +6 in social. So she's mainly with a researcher, she's good with plants, decent at mining, and not bad at much other things. Again, staggering ugly and an undergrounder, so the same skills, which means she won't care about being underground all the time. And then we've got Mace Wright, which was the third, but it was really difficult to actually find someone that I wanted here. Mace is a brawler, which means that they will have to have a melee weapon, otherwise they will get a mood debuff. That is going to be the melee fighter, but they are tough, which means that they won't go down as easier, they won't get as much damage. And they are kind, which means that I think they're less likely to have the insult spree, mental break, and things like that. But as a child, Mace was a medieval slave. Mace grew up pulling carts and digging holes in a medieval world. Simple manual labour is the oldest companion, along with the master's leash. He didn't learn to read until age 9. +2 in construction, mining, and plants, and a -3 in intellectual. In his adult life, he was a builder. Mace worked on construction sites, building everyday structures according to his boss's instructions, which gives him a +7 in construction and a burning passion, which is why I ended up going with him, because he's alright at most things and very good at construction. Which means that some of the, especially later in the game when the construction barrier is like 10 and above, he can still be doing that, providing he survives. So overall, it gives us not a bad starting point. It does mean that we are missing someone to do the pew pew thing. We could work on that. So let's go. And we are here. The three of you awake in a crypto-sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. Okie doke. So we have May the cat. We have a cat! Yay! So, Mace, you are melee, so you need the plasteel knife. Let's see, who's the better doctor? Medical 4, medical 6, right, so you're our main gunfighter, because you don't want your doctor to be your main gunfighter. So I need to equip that. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Mace, if you could wear the flak vest. And Eggs, I'd like you to wear the flak pants. Then everyone's got a piece of armor. Okay, let's see what we got. This is what I wanted. Look at this nice big area. So what I'll probably do is start the entrance over here. And have this area as a kill box. Or probably more like... Ooh, there's a geothermal vent there. So probably more like this area. Set that starship to deconstruct. Right, so one of the things I love in this map, because early game, there's stuff scattered everywhere and half of it's disallowed. So I can go to orders, allow everything, and 42 things have been allowed. Love that. Genuinely love that. So this is definitely going to be our living area. Ooh, how much medicine have we got on site? 43. Let's get those all. Well, cool. Speaking of which, I need to sort out priorities. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so that is what I'm going with, and unfortunately I'm going to have to change some of my choices in weaponry. So Eggs, I'm going to need you to have the bolt action rifle because you are a hunter. And then... yeah, the helmet. Kramer, you get the revolver and the flak pants. Didn't particularly want that way round, but it's just the way it is. Because the hunter needs to have the long range weapon. We good? We good. Cool. Okay. That's a herd of buffalo. They're going to be useful to have, well, obviously not now, but later in the game they are going to be useful. Okay. In fact, what I'm going to do for now is set everyone to priority 1 mining while we get this place sorted. So let's do a little bit of planning. So that's going to have the geothermal over it as soon as we get that technology. We could have the kill box here. So what I'll do, and you'll see this, is I'm going to go through, make all that out of fences so that you can shoot over it, and then have initially sandbags back here, then back that up with turrets, and then start building traps in here. Just ultimately make it overly difficult for anyone to get in the base who I don't want in the base. So we want a wall at the front, something like that. Ultimately adding a second, yeah, just straight across will do, a second layer to that wall, so that if we do get sappers, then they've got to come through 2 layers. I wonder where the ancient danger is on this map. Some decent components, decent ruins to pillage. Oh, there it is. Definitely ancient danger right there. So if we get some decent traders come to play, I may end up releasing that and setting the traders on them. So that's where the wall's going to be. We can have growing zones in there. We have a dumping zone down here for now. And then we want ultimately a 3-wide corridor going into the mountain. Set that out as the kitchen, and then it'll need that digging out so that we can put the coolers in there. What else do we need close to? Next to the kitchen we're going to need a dining room. The medical area is going to be a must right next to, so that we can deal with people straight away, along with the stockpile. So, and then off the back of that, two smaller stockpile zones. So that's going to be the meals I don't want them to eat. It's going to be forbidden from pets, and that's going to be beer and smoke and stuff that's also going to be forbidden from pets, so that the pets don't get alcohol tolerances and eat all the food that I want to travel with, like packaged survival meals and things like that. So then we could do with some colonist bedrooms. So the offshoots can be a 2x2, I think. Yeah. 5x5 bedrooms. Awesome. And there's the building line. So that'll do for now. So let's start with just that line. Deconstructing, harvesting. But wandering's always an option. Let's speed up time. Let's just get things like this done. What are you doing now? Digging? Digging. Awesome, the mining has started. Let's just start with a dumping stockpile zone like here. Let's just allow all. That is cryosleep things. Was it the ambrosio addiction? I think it was cryosleep. Not that many. If I can get a room for the night. Structure. Door. Start with a wooden door, we can always replace it. If we get a room for the night, then they've got somewhere to sleep. The entrance to that room is going to have to be there. Grandma needs a social. Right. Furniture. So for tonight, you are having sleeping spots. Set that to hall urgently, get that out of the way. There we go, we've got an indoors now. And everybody's asleep. Well, that's just about going to do it for part 1, guys. Catch me again in part 2, where we will be carrying on with this series, keeping the colony growing.